Well, good evening, YouTubers, and welcome to the new Illiniprepper channel, where I intend to hopefully instruct more people about being prepared for disasters and other sort of crises that may occur in their lives. We're going to start out with some wonderful tips from our friends in the federal government, FEMA, and organizations like the Red Cross. They all tend to recommend at least 3 basic steps for emergency preparedness, and at that it's build a kit, make a plan, and get informed. And to start out with today, I'd like to go with building a kit. A kit can really be any number of different items. It can be anything from a bunch of stuff thrown into a sort of a trash bin to keep it all together and safe, or you can put it in packs like some of those around me tonight, and you can also throw them in 5-gallon buckets, seal them in there, any number of things, as long as you keep in mind that you want to put it in a container that you can use and transport fairly easily. This is your basic 3-day kit we're talking about here. For the most part, many people are going to be putting their items into some sort of a backpack for portability. For those that are less mobile, less able to carry large loads, I've often recommended that they carry a backpack, but one of those fancy-dancy ones these days that come with wheels built into the base, so it's easier to move on flat terrain. But to start out with today, I would like to emphasize that your kit can really be what you make it, and you can get the items from many different sources. For instance, you have your standard military surplus pack. This one happens to be a large Alice pack acquired at a online military surplus vendor. These types of packs are very commonplace, they're relatively cheap to come by, and they are a time-tested item that you can get and put your stuff in. I tend to like external frame packs. I like things that can kill multiple birds with one stone, and that external frame you can use for many items. Another thing I would like to do is introduce packs that you can get by becoming involved in other groups. Now, the Friends in the Federal Government a few years ago started a Citizen Corps program, and part of that program was CERT, Community Emergency Response Team, and at the time quite a few dollars of your tax money was spent on starting these teams and gearing them up. Now, unfortunately, due to the budget crisis, a lot of that money is drying up, but you still might find some of it out there. And there are some really good teams that have been established through this program. So it's a great way to acquire skills, which I will get into later in my YouTube posts, but it's also a good way to acquire some gear. Some of these teams may require team commitment or excessive time commitment, depending upon which one you're talking about, and they may require membership dues, but some don't at all. It just depends upon your local area. You can find out more about the CERT program by going online and Googling CERT or Citizen Corps and finding out about the umbrella program. A lot of folks have what they need to start their disaster supplies kits or emergency kits right in their own homes. For instance, my family started out just using a generic red duffel bag we acquired for just a couple of bucks, and started throwing some items into it. As you can see, it's just real generic, probably not that durable, but it put all those things in one place, and that's kind of what you want to start out with. You want to make sure that you have all the items, and you'd be surprised going around your home what you'll find that you need to put in your disaster supplies kit. And the key thing there is you want to remember to gather them all and put them in one spot, because you don't want to go running around. Oh, and there's something sneaking into the screen there. That would be our cat, Carmelo. She is an interesting addition to this evening's YouTube video, because you need to take in mind your pets, your cats, your dogs, or whatever else you may have. If you keep them around, they need to have food, water, etc. of their very own. So remember to take in mind your four-legged creatures that hang out with you. And the final backpack that she is showcasing at the moment is another program under the Citizen Corps umbrella, and that is Medical Reserve Corps. That is a program very similar to that of Community Emergency Response Team, CERT. However, it is more of a medical bent. You'll find people in there who are nurses, EMTs, and some sort of medical background. But very similar to the CERT program, you can get some good gear through that. But anyway, you should start out by building your kit. As we've explained, you can build them out of all numerous sorts of things, but as long as you get those items in one place so you know where they're at. These things that tend to be included in these kits, very basically, are food, water, and shelter to last you for 3 days, 72 hours. This is something that you don't want to delve into for an emergency, but I find that mine has been very useful in day-to-day life. I tend to able to help out friends, grab toilet paper, for instance, first aid items out of there, grab a snack, and it helps you rotate these because the supplies that you put in your kit tend to have a expiration date on them. One of the recommendations is at least once a year going through your kit and replacing the items that are expiring or near their expiration date. I prefer to go through my kit every 6 months because I tend to put some meds in them, and meds are pretty finicky, especially when you're talking about changing temperatures. Kits don't just have to be stored at home. You can store them in your vehicle. I highly recommend a smaller, more portable version for your vehicle as well as at your workplace. These are going to cover the primary places that you're going to be in any given day, at home, in your vehicle or near your vehicle, and at work. So you can acquire items you may need there. Again, food, water, and shelter are the primary things that you want to cover. Going a little further into detail, I will go into those food, water, and shelter items in my next YouTube video cast. But I wanted to start out with a brief introduction about what this YouTube channel is going to be all about. I intend on doing more videos and developing my style, and I apologize if this doesn't meet some folks' fancy. This is my first one, but we'll get better as time goes on and post further details. But I want to dispel a myth that is out there. That is the disaster denial myth. One is that a disaster can't happen to me, and two, if it does happen, it won't happen to me. Three, if it does happen, and it does happen to me, it won't be all that bad. And four, if it does happen and it happens to me and it is bad, there was nothing I could do about it to begin with. These are the things we're going to dispel today. There is always something you can do, and some of the things that you can do are very basic. I like to say in my life, you want to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. You find if you prepare for the worst, it really helps you fulfilling that best part. And you can always hope for the best. It goes back to survival school, positive mental attitude. That's one thing I'll emphasize throughout it all. You want to keep a positive mental attitude. And I also like to emphasize that you have to have some sort of a spiritual life. You hear time and time again POW stories about folks who found their strength in their faith, and there's something to be said about that. And faith and prayer. So at that, I'm going to sign off for the evening, and I look forward to posting further videos and interacting with the YouTube prepper community. So have a great night. For those of you affected by the recent winter storm, stay safe out there and warm, and I'll talk to you soon.